All right, and we are back with another episode, and I'm joined all the way from Sydney, Australia, Hayley Jensen. How's it going?
Hey, Cody, so good to see you again. It's been what, almost 2 years now?
2 years, yeah. What was that? 2019
Crazy.
Calgary Stampede.
2019. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the last time we.
for those who don't know, I interviewed you at the Coke stage at Calgary Stampede, and it was awesome. You came to perform a little bit there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was my first time over in Canada, and great experience being able, I mean, bucket list moment in my life and career, being able to perform there at the Calgary Stampede and also play at Dolphins Country Fest and do a little bit of touring with my good friend Amy Nelson,
yeah,
fellow country artist over there. So, yeah, just an amazing whirlwind experience. And I think when I said goodbye to you, we were heading up to Banff and Jasper National Park for a bit of a holiday. My husband came over to join us and
great.
just went for a bit of a break. So, what a beautiful country you have.
Oh,
Just, I
yeah.
cannot wait to come back.
Here you're saying this, and I'm like, oh, I need to go to Australia. Come over there, right? That's funny.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it is gorgeous here too, but I mean,
Of
it's
course.
always what you don't, grass is greener always.
Exactly.
So,
When you go somewhere different, right? You always have to.
yeah.
So. How's the quarantine out there? How is it out in Australia? Because I don't even know.
Yeah, look, we're pretty good. It's pretty under control here. I mean, it's all relative, right? So there's, as we speak, I think there's 3 cases that have just been found outside of, hotel quarantine, just in northern New South Wales. And so the whole state of like Queensland and that northern New South Wales area is kind of shut down for a few days so the contact tracers can get on top of it. But like that's the extent of it. We've sort of managed to, for the most part, eradicate the virus within the general community. So it's really just people that are coming in to Australia by, airplane and stuff, people returning or what have you that are then in quarantine for a couple of weeks, tested, everything before they're cleared to be allowed out to
Nice.
socialize with us. I mean, we were saying off air, it's like I'm very lucky we're a big island here. So we've just kind of shut the borders and gone, okay, if you want to come here, that's fine, but you have to spend the time in quarantine and pay for it yourself. And,
For sure.
So it's not great. It would be great if we didn't have any of this problem, but it's,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's so much, it's pretty amazing how they managed to get on top of it all. And, so live music scene is just starting to kind of ramp up again. We've had a few festivals happening, which is great. Actually, this over Easter, there was meant to be a big blues festival on that was cancelled because it was right in the heart of where all that happened. So that was, a shame because it was all set up and everything, and it was people arriving with their campers and basically being turned around and told to go home. So it's touch and go still, and it's like risky for people to put on events and live music to happen, but we're trying. Everyone's still trying to, get back to as much of a new normal as we can.
Yep. And you do you find other restrictions at like the live shows that you guys are having?
Yeah. So for the most part, it's been all the social distancing rules of,
Sure.
a couple of square meters between everybody and that sort of thing. So that's made it really hard for, the bigger acts to really make any money on putting on shows and that sort of thing, because they just can't sell the tickets to the venues. But, it's things are starting to come back, and I think people are appreciating live music a lot more and that sort of thing. So it's just, we just have to keep being positive and doing the right things until, I guess, we can eradicate it for sure. And then hopefully another version or something doesn't come.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna jump right into talking about music because
Cool.
people might know you from your last single, Breaking Hearts, which broke some records for you. which I'm going to list some of these off because you have a few here.
Awesome.
You have #1 on iTunes country charts, #1 Australian song at country radio, which was #2 overall. It was added to Spotify's Fresh Country playlist, and it cracked the Canadian country top 100 radio charts, and it was #32 most played song on CBC Music on Sirius XM across North America.
Pretty crazy, huh?
So,
for a little girl little singer from Australia,
right?
Mental.
So first, I want to congratulate you on all that, because I don't think I ever did,
you.
to be honest. Second, you're now back with a new single, "Just Gonna Party."
Yeah,
Which,
it's all about exactly what we've been talking about here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So tell us about this song, how it all came together here.
Yeah, cool. So written with the same crew and produced by the same team that did Breaking Hearts. So that's Troy Cokel in Calgary there, and written with Troy and Chris O'Neill, another amazing songwriter there in Calgary. And and Troy's produced it all up, and he's actually producing my new album as well, which is really, really cool. We're kind of like back and forth all the time on Zoom and whatever else, texts with different versions of songs, and it's awesome collaborating this way. And be better if I could be there in the room, but anyway, we're making it work, so that's really cool. And yeah, Just Gonna Party. It's like we wrote it in the midst of lockdown when it's like the whole world just stopped, and I think for you guys it's still, really touch and go of how much you can kind of do and be out and see friends and enjoy yourself. And we've been a bit luckier here that things are starting to open up, but as I say, it can be like a split second, something happens and we're back to square one. So this is really just about, like, you flick on the news and what are we're seeing, like, crazy protests and the world's going mad. It's like natural disaster. We've had some of the biggest fires. We've just had like massive floods all through. I know in Nashville there've just been these crazy floods that have happened. It's like, what is happening? The world's going nuts.
All at once, yeah.
All at once. Like crazy pandemics. We've had like grasshopper plagues that have wiped out all the crops for our farmers, like mice plagues. It's like, you just can't even. I think there was like even footage of like these spider infestations and stuff from Australia when the floods were coming. It's like, wow. And I'm not even surprised anymore when I see it come on the news, which is like, I think the saddest thing is like we're all just like, oh yeah, another crazy thing happening in the world. So really this song was just like, really coming from that place of like, the world has gone bonkers. It's gone mad. We're just going to party, because what else are you going to do? The old saying, like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. It's like, that's really what we're trying to get at with this song.
Sure.
And so, yeah, and I think we captured it pretty well. And so I love it. It's a really fun party song. After Breaking Hearts is quite a serious, heartbreaking song. It's nice to kind of come out with something that's a bit more lighthearted, and we can all dance to it, whether it's in our lounge room or out somewhere. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, it sounds great. Troy did a great job as well. I love working with Troy as well, so it's you did really good, and I'm excited to hear the album that you guys
it's coming together. August, it should be out in August. So we get a little while, but we're it's all coming along so well. And just it's just amazing to be working with somebody like Troy. He's just such a wonderful collaborative producer, and we sit down for hours just talking about little sounds, and I'll sit here with my voice, my voice memo thing on my phone and sing a little part. Text it to him, whoop, it's there. He drops it into the session, changes it into some different sound. Next minute we're listening to it. Yeah, that works. It's like, it's really incredible how much you can do from a distance, together, which is just the coolest thing. Yeah, I love working with him. He's one of my favorite producers to ever work with, and one of my favorite people. He's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. Him and his wife Joni as well. Joni and I wrote a bunch of the songs on the new album as well.
Nice.
So
She's great. Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome. And all right. This was also added to CBC Music as well.
It
correct?
Was. Yes, it's
That's
just been
awesome.
added. So cool.
Are we looking at new records to break here, or what's going to happen?
Oh, let's hope. Let's hope I can, I mean, it would be awesome to be able to release, that's everyone's artist dream, I guess, to be able to release music around the world. And, it's like, I really do feel like this is such a beautiful collaboration between our two countries, and so I'm just seeing it more and more here in Australia, that collaboration happening with Canadian artists as well. One of our top artists, Travis Collins, has just done a big duet with Jess Moskaluk. It's hitting the radio charts here as well. And it's just so nice to see that, it's like we've kind of turned around and gone, oh, hey, we really like, hey, while the world's going crazy and we're kind of normal, like,
right,
let's just hang out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. This music video you have out for it, I definitely want to chat about it, because I think it's actually really cool, the whole animated kind of stuff. How did you guys think of that idea and come up with that?
All I can say is I've obviously got a good imagination. Although you don't really need that much of a good imagination with everything going on in the world, because it's sort of unbelievable anyway. But the music video for Just Gonna Party was produced by this amazing, he's a former Hanna-Barbera animator, worked on things like Scooby-Doo and all that, and he made my music video. It's crazy. Actually, Troy introduced me to Reggie. He also produced his Jim Cudi music video. I don't know if you've seen that one. If you haven't, you've got to go and check it out. It's very, very funny, where his partner runs off with Jim Cudi. It's great. And he ends up in jail and everything. But it's a great animation as well. But yeah, this one, I just, it was kind of thinking about this music video. There were so many things that I wanted to put in it that was showing like what the crazy things happening in the world. And I thought, how am I going to light a dumpster on fire, without the police coming and arresting me? I know, we'll just make it an anime. How am I going to get a meteor to just crash into it and set half the world on fire, and then have a massive music festival happening at the same time? Yeah, let's just make it an animation. So, aliens coming down to Earth. Yeah, all right. That bit of creative license there. We haven't seen that yet.
Sure. Yeah, it was amazing, because I was like, oh, Troy's had some animated stuff. So I was like, oh, I wonder if they came up with it together or how it all came about. Because, as soon as you released it, I was like, oh, this is different. I really like it. So
awesome. Thank you. Yeah, you really cool. Got to check it out. I love the little, the little dancing man with his little naked bum hanging out. So around. There's so many. There is a little nod to Troy there. There's a hot dog van, Troy's Hot Dogs or whatever. And there's so many very cool things about it. I can't believe he fit all of those crazy ideas into the one. I sort of went to him with like, I want this to happen, and then this happened. And I'm like, he's going to come back and go, Hayley, it's a 3-minute song. Like, what? And he was just like, I think we can make that happen. And also, how about this and this? And I was like, yes.
That's it.
So, exactly.
That's awesome. So what do you find your favorite thing is about co-writing with people like that are basically across the world here?
Oh, look, I think just we come with such different perspectives on life and on what's happening, and it's all. I guess the thing is, COVID and the whole pandemic and not being able to travel, we had to sort of find different ways to. Normally you'd be like, oh, cool, I'll go over to Canada and do a writing trip or something, or I'll go to the States and do a writing trip. And I think it just opened up like a lot of possibilities for people going, well, actually nobody can. So everybody's sitting at home. So why don't I just reach out to so-and-so and see if they're keen to do some writing? And, it is very different writing in this kind of way, than being in the same room with somebody. But the same time, it kind of forces you to just be really focused, and you don't get distracted by something else happening in the room. It's like the song. And yeah, I think just the different perspectives, different, views on life and what's happening in people's world, and things they've seen, experienced. It's different. So it brings something fresh and interesting to the process. And I've just met so many cool people through the process. Another couple of songs that I've got coming up, I've written with Clayton Bellamy and Dan Davidson, and there's a cool duet that's going to be on the album with Clayton and myself that Dan had a hand in producing as well, and a few other things like that have just, it's been awesome to not have to, pay thousands of dollars for an airfare ticket and fly over the other side of the world, to still be able to collaborate and, make something new and interesting. And yeah.
I agree, because at first I wasn't a fan of the online stuff, and it took me so long to kind of get into the game. And then but you know what, at the end of the day, it's great, because we wouldn't be having this interview right now.
I know.
If that wasn't online, you know what I mean? Like it's cool that I can connect with people, everywhere now. Instead of having to wait for an event or wait till they show up to perform live here or something like that.
That's it. Yeah. That's great.
Do you find yourself, with the COVID and doing it over Zoom, do you find yourself, more creative, maybe less creative? How do you find that?
Good question. I think it's probably, I think collaborating, it's definitely been a more creative experience. It's not just, I think we're just not taking things for granted so much. So it's like, not that I ever have taken my job, what I get to do for a living, for granted, but you sort of take for granted, I could just pop down anytime and kind of, down the street and write with so-and-so or whatever. And now it's like, well, you can't. So you are sort of forced to dig that. And I think we all are being forced by our circumstances to just dig a bit deeper into, like, if this is happening in the world, what does this, like, what is life even? It does make you kind of stop and ask the big questions and be like, whoa, I think it's putting the hustle and bustle on pause has given everybody that opportunity to sort of sit back and go, what do I really want? What's important to me?
Right.
What's, what do I care about? What do I want to put my time to? Yeah, and my energy to, and that sort of thing. So I think in that sense, it's kind of had that flow-on effect into the music of, just all of those elements of being really focused and grateful for, like, just that you're able to still do what you do during such a crazy time. So
that's right. Yeah, no, I was curious because, with artists, not traveling as much, not, kind of not having those life experiences like we had in the past.
Yeah.
I always wondered if, like, that kind of took away, oh, let's write about this. I was down this road, or I was in this town, or this and this. So all that's kind of gone away. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's been more difficult for artists to kind of.
Yeah, I think, that's a really good point. It's interesting, all the music that you're kind of hearing on the radio and stuff now, like a lot of it is reflective of, the top, like, being grateful for what you have, or like, like a lot of it is very, lockdown focused, kind of introverted, or like,
for sure.
Music. But I think people are probably getting a lot of inspiration, sorry to say it, from things like Netflix and like watch it. I know for me, like, like I'll watch a movie and I'll be really, moved by the story in it, or because we can't get out and live that ourselves. We're just living vicariously through these subscription television channels and YouTube. So I think it's like, maybe we're writing about different things now from different perspectives, because we can see things, we're taking the time to, I've watched everything on that. Now maybe I'll watch this documentary on how the oceans are being, like, devastated. And so then we're kind of getting this big awakening around things that we maybe didn't care about or not didn't care about, but didn't take time for before. So
Right.
I'm hoping it makes us a bit more mindful and, thoughtful, rather than just being like, oh yeah, and I'm a girl and he's a boy and we met at a bar and woo. Like writing a bit more inspiring music. Not that there's anything wrong with those songs.
For sure, yeah. Okay, so tell me, speaking of like the songwriting aspect of everything, what is the weirdest, most awkward way you've ever come up with a song?
Oh gosh. Weirdest, most awkward way I've ever come up with a song. It would have to actually be, I mean, I don't know if it's, it was kind of weird and awkward. It would have to be the song Summertime Soundtrack, which I think you've probably heard me sing. I think I sang it when I was at Calgary Stampede.
Yep, you did.
And I wrote it when I was over in Nashville in a writing session, and we sort of had this first session. It didn't really go particularly well, and it was like, yeah, we'll catch up, maybe we can catch up another time. Like sometimes it just doesn't, the ideas that you have don't sit with another person. Like they're like, yeah, I'm not really interested in that. And you're like, oh, that was my idea. So now this is awkward. Yeah. And so we kind of went our separate ways and had a songwriting session. I had like a writers in the round session that night, and Codi up again. Oh, yeah, that's cool. And then sort of got each other's style a little bit more from actually hearing each other play live. And then that night I went home, went back to my Airbnb, and I'm laying there, with the notepad in bed going, what am I going to write? I need to come up with some more ideas because that was what I wanted to write. But, sometimes you can get really stuck on something and it's like, no, I need to just let it go. What else could we write about? And I wrote down a few ideas and then went, look, something will come in the morning. Went to bed, woke up, like it was like I was having this dream of this song playing in my head, and sort of was like, what was that? Pulled out my voice memo thing, as you do, as you should do, because there's been many times when you don't and you regret. You're like, I'll remember that song in the morning. That was an epic song. I'm sure I'll remember it. Wake up, no, not an ounce of remembrance. So I pulled out the voice memo, sang away, kick it off with a kick drum, back it up with some bass tone, round it up with that rhythm, gets me every time. And then I was like, why don't you give me it? And then sort of the next bit was a bit, and then I turned up to the session and was like, look, I've got this funny, came to me at 2 a.m. I think I was still asleep, don't even know if it's good, play. And it was just like click, boom, all of a sudden it was just like this song just kept rolling out of both of us, and we were just like, Summertime Soundtrack, all the things that you just love and miss from summertime and the experiences that you have. And so we kind of jammed them all into the song, and yeah, it ended up being a great hit for me. And here in Australia, also released it to Canadian radio as well. Got played on a bunch of stations while I was over there for the festivals. And yeah, it was just like, that was a weird way to come up with a song, that it sort of just came to me in a dream. But yeah, it probably doesn't always work like that.
For sure,
Maybe sometimes, but
okay.
time did.
All right. Okay, so your new single, Just Gonna Party, available on all platforms, of course.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So
everywhere.
Please
Perfect.
stream and all that stuff.
Awesome. And with the release of this song, what's next for Hayley Jensen?
Yeah, well, we're just pushing on with this one for now. The next single is almost ready to go. Troy and I have been bouncing back and forth with the final mixes. Just more music. And as I say, the album in August, and I'll be doing some touring around Australia only. Then I'll hopefully do a live stream show as part of that, so it can involve everyone. And yeah, hoping like that next year we can travel again, and I can get back over and come back and see you guys in person.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I need to come there.
Oh, well, or you could come here. That's good. I can show you around.
Absolutely.
I'm like right on the harbour here. I can take you around. There's the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and we can walk over it.
I kept trying to think of somewhere different that I haven't been, and there I have never been. So it's funny because I'm like, okay, when we travel, I think I might have to call Hayley and
you should definitely call me. Definitely. Yeah, we know all the good places. And my husband, he's originally from Belgium, so he's like the ultimate tourist with all the, knows all. He knows more about the place than I do. He knows all the good spots, talking about taking things for granted when you live somewhere, you're just like, oh, I'll get there one day. He's been to, go to Ayers Rock, and there's so many beautiful parts of this country as well. So definitely get over here. I'll show you around.
Perfect. Love it. And okay, so for those who don't know, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. Yeah,
sure. Hayley Jensen, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the thingies like that, all the streaming platforms, and connect up on Facebook or Insta. I'm always on there, much to my husband's to say. But it's great to just be able to connect with people in real time like that, and share the journey and share the experience. I've got a little group on Facebook called Hayley's Comets, so you can join the Hayley's Comets, and HayleyJensen.net is my website too.
Awesome. All right, Hayley, thank you so much.
Hey, Cody, thanks so much for chatting with me. It's been great hanging out.
Absolutely. And everyone, make sure you go get Just Gonna Party. Again, available on all platforms. And
check out the video, YouTube.
You have to check out the video. It's awesome. All right, Hayley, thanks again. And
thanks, Cody.
We'll definitely talk soon.
Catch you soon.
All right. See you later.